All right, what's up, everyone? Back with another Ask LBD. So I haven't done an Ask LBD segment for YouTube in a while here. Ask LBD is just me answering your questions. Before I start, please like, comment, subscribe. You know, I enjoy doing these YouTube, so give me some feedback and let me know what you want to see in future videos. So these questions for Ask LBD were taken from my Facebook group, my private Facebook group. So if you want to join the Facebook group, after you sign up, you're given a link to join. It's for clients only or past clients. So these questions were taken from there. In the future, I send out an email asking for questions. I'll make an Instagram post. But these set of questions for this Ask LBD, which I don't even know what episode this is. It's got to be like, I haven't done Ask LBD in a while, but it's got to be like 15 or 16 or something. But these questions were from my Facebook group. So how I'm going to do it is I'm just going to read off the person's name. So in the future, if you want to be anonymous, let me know. Because if you don't say anything, I'm just going to read your first and last name. And then I'm going to read their question exactly and answer it to the best of my ability. So without further ado, here we go. I got like 10 or 12 questions. And I try to give you as much info as possible. I ramble. So these YouTubes, you know, I use the YouTube as long form content. So if you're watching this, I appreciate it. And my YouTube is meant to, you know, I just ramble and talk as much as I want, because if you're going to watch my YouTube, it's, you know, it's a long video, where Instagram is my quick tips, quick hitters. YouTube, I just have fun with it and, you know, show my personality a little bit and, you know, really try to help you out as much as I can. So, here we go. First question. Charles Joseph asks, After 2 to 3 weeks of falling off the training plan due to life happening and losing some muscles, I find it hard to keep up with the advanced training plan. How do you get back on track? So, you know, I know this is going to sound kind of funny, but the best way to get back on track is just to get back at it. Now, you may want to start slowly, and by that I mean, well, first off, you miss 2 or 3 weeks, that's really not that much. I mean, people get injured and miss 4 months. I know when I had my injury, I tore my quads, was out of the gym for 4 months. But I do recommend just getting back at it, getting back in the gym, and then start slowly. So all I mean by that is, let's say before you were doing like 4 sets per exercise, maybe do 3. Or if you were doing, you know, 12 to 15 reps, maybe only do like 7 to 8. So just start slowly, maybe cut your volume back a little bit. But, you know, the best way to get back on track is just get back at it. And, you know, don't go ham, don't go 100% right away. But definitely get back in the gym or your home gym, whatever you're doing, and start doing the movements again. But 2 to 3 weeks, you know, you're not going to lose that much in 2 to 3 weeks, honestly. Next question. I can't pronounce your name, sorry. I'll just say Mr. Bowie. When lifting, his last name is B-O-U. B-O-U-Y. Nijerboui. So I'm not trying to pronounce the name. I'm not even going to try to butcher it. When lifting weights, how do you know when you should increase your starting weight for any exercise? Good question. So, you know, being an online trainer and not in person, it is hard for me. I mean, it's impossible for me to tell you what the amount of weight to start with. I always tell people to start with light weight and then gradually increase the weight each set. But for me to tell you what actual weight to start with, you know, I don't know, because I don't know how strong you are that day, what certain exercise it is. The best advice I can give you is always start very light. So the first set is just a warm-up. So you're not pushing yourself on the first set. Even the second set, you're not really pushing yourself. So you're starting very light and gradually increase weight each set. And then, you know, as you become more advanced and more years lifting, you know, you're going to get a better idea of your body and how you feel that certain day and what weights to start with. But the first 2 sets should always be very light. But once again, you know, as an online trainer, I try to do my best with showing you how to perform the exercises. But for me to actually give you the actual weights, you know, I don't know. It depends on how you feel that day, how strong you personally are. But the first 2 or 3 sets, the first 2 sets should always be very light. And, you know, you're not really pushing yourself or going to failure to the last set. But once again, as you become more advanced and, you know, more years in the gym, you're going to get a hang of it. Like, you know, I've been training 16 years and I know what weights I'm comfortable doing and how to progress my weight up. So just keep at it and give it time. Michelle Perky, What are your thoughts on eating according to macros and IIFYM, if it fits your macros? Yeah, for me, if you're my client or I've done my plans in the past, you know that I am an advocate for specific meal plans. So I give you specific, weights and ounces and cups to follow, which I believe is the best way to get the best results. And that's why I feel like a lot of my clients have such good transformations, because there's no guesswork, okay? You just follow a specific plan. However, if you want to do it if it fits your macros diet, you absolutely can, but it's a lot more work on the client, okay? So if it fits your macros diet just means that you're trying to hit certain numbers, protein, carb, fat, the 3 macros. You're trying to hit certain numbers throughout the day, so you have to log in those numbers. So let's say, you're having a sandwich, you would have to look at, MyFitnessPal or another app and see how much protein, carbs, and fat is in there and log it in. So to me, I've never, now you can do that, but I've never been a huge fan of that as a coach, because I think it's kind of lazy on the coach's part, because you're giving your client a lot of work to do. So that's why I prefer just giving you exact meals and specific meal plan. That's the way I've always done it. However, if a client requests macros, I can give you the macros, but just understand it's going to be a lot more work on you. And I do believe that you need to eat, clean foods to see the best results. I don't think like 40 grams of carbs from, a Pop-Tart is the same as 40 grams of carbs from oatmeal. I follow the more traditional style of dieting and meal prep, but you can do macros, but just know, it's going to be a lot more work for you to keep track of everything. A good question, though. Next question is from Kristen Nicole. What is the difference between the leg press and the seated leg press? Does it matter which one I use? Okay, she had a couple questions. So that's the first question. So the seated leg press is usually at, what angle is that? Parallel? It's parallel to the floor. Parallel to the floor. And a seated leg press usually is referring to a pin-loaded machine, a cable machine, okay? Where a leg press is at more of an angle, and usually if I say leg press, it's referring to the plate-loaded leg press. And there's tons of different variations of leg press, but usually leg press, for when I say that, I'm referring to plate-loaded, and seated leg press is a cable. The benefits, the seated leg press, the pin-loaded cable, when I say pin-loaded, it just means like, the pin on the stack, it's going to be lighter. Okay, so you may want to end the workout with that, or if you're, not super advanced and don't want to, use heavy weight, the seated pin-loaded leg press is good. But if you're really trying to build muscle and, really stimulate your entire thighs, the plate-loaded leg press is going to be a little more beneficial and harder to do, or better to do. But both of them, you'll see good results. But that's the difference. One is plate-loaded, one is pin-loaded. She also asks, what are the benefits of using a Smith machine over a barbell? The Smith machine comes up in my exercise plans frequently. Yeah, great question. So I'm a huge fan of the Smith machine because you don't have to worry about balancing the bar. Okay, so let's pick an exercise. Let's say squats. So if you're doing barbell squats, you have to balance the bar, obviously, and your form, it's going to be harder to maintain strict form. You may bend over, you may use like your low back too much, you may be bad on your knees. Where a Smith machine, since it's already in a fixed position, all you have to focus on is just pumping out reps. Now some people may say, oh, well, you don't have to balance it, so it's not going to work all these secondary muscles, which is true, but if you're trying to build muscle and like build a physique, the main focus, in my opinion at least, is to isolate each muscle, which a Smith machine allows you to do that better than a barbell. Now I would do both though. I'm not saying don't do barbell. When I first started lifting, I did tons of barbell. But I do like a Smith machine because it just enables you to focus on each rep better, because you don't have to worry about, the bar tipping or all this balancing act. So I am a fan of Smith machine, especially for squats, bench press, bent over rows, close grip bench. Smith machine is great. I love Smith machine for a lot of stuff, a lot of exercises, and I include it, in a lot of my plans. Next question is Ashley Hawkins. Thoughts on muscle and balance. I've noticed a significant size difference in my hamstrings. Visually, one leg looks larger and or maybe just more cut than the other. normal, or should I be adding in extra reps? Oh, okay, she's asking about one side is bigger than the other. In her case, hamstrings. So how you do, or how you remedy that is you do unilateral movements, which is just, you know, a smart, acted smart, fancy way of saying, oh, what up, bro? Leave this in there, though. So I'm live streaming this, too. So in the future, guys, if you're watching my YouTube, always check when I go live, too. Yeah, so unilateral movements just means one side at a time. So for hamstrings, a unilateral movement, you know, would be kneeling leg curl, you know, the single leg curl machine, or you could do lying leg curls, one leg at a time. So that's what I would recommend, but I wouldn't recommend doing more reps on one leg, on one side than the other. I would actually do the same amount of reps, just try doing single leg movements, which, like I said, for hamstrings would be your kneeling leg curl, the standing leg curl machine, or lying leg curl, one leg at a time. That's what I would personally do. Also, like Bulgarian split squats or lunges, those will both work your hamstrings as well, so maybe include those. And then lastly, don't worry about it too much. Everybody has one side that's larger, one side that's bigger or stronger than the other. So I wouldn't worry about it too much, but if you utilize unilateral movements, you'll probably see those problems fixed a little bit. Next question is Sophia Dane Lawrence. Sophia Dane Lawrence, I appreciate your how do you say, your engagement on Instagram. You're always commenting and asking questions. Thank you. Can you explain the difference between stiff leg deadlifts and Romanian deadlifts? Which is more targeted towards hamstrings? Yeah, so they're pretty similar. You know, in my opinion, the stiff leg is just your legs, your knees are more locked out, and Romanian deadlifts, your knees are a little more bent, but they're both going to target your hamstrings. Which one is better? You know, I prefer the Romanian because the stiff leg deadlift is kind of harder to get super perfect form, honestly. So I prefer Romanian because your knees are slightly bent. But with either of them, the main focus is to stick your butt out first. So you stick your butt out as far as you can first, then you lower the weight. And then as you come up, you want to drive through the heels, the back of your foot, squeeze your glutes, flex your hamstrings. Which one should you do? Honestly, just whichever one feels best for your body and whichever one you feel and in your hamstrings more. For me, it's Romanian, and I like doing dumbbells. Romanian deadlift with dumbbells is what I prefer for hamstrings, me personally. Next question, Bobby Murphy. I'm gonna take a swig of BCAs, one of BCAs. Shameless plug. How do they say it? Shameless plug? Shameful plug? Shameless plug. Okay. Bobby Murphy. And this is, what do I got? Raspberry lemonade flavor. That and rose slushy are my two favorite flavors. Okay. Bobby Murphy, active duty military here. Well, first of all, thank you very much for your service. I love the military. You guys are the true heroes. So thank you, Bobby Murphy. If we have physical training, it's a really good question. So if we have physical training in the morning, which could vary from upper body, lower body, full body workouts, does this have any impact on the effectiveness of our scheduled workout for that day? So basically he's asking if you're doing training for in this case the military or a job, you know, in the morning, does that affect his scheduled workout for the day? He also says if we are doing various circuit training exercises that work our pushed muscles to failure that morning, how would it affect us if we're doing chest push? Okay, so, you know, I'm assuming the military training in the morning, you're not going to be doing bodybuilding type workouts, like heavy stuff. You said circuit training. So honestly, I would just make sure that you get a couple meals in between, and you'll be fine. But for your morning workout that you're obligated to do via the military, it doesn't sound like you're training progressive overload, so increasing weight. It sounds just more of like a, not cardio workout, but more of like a pump style workout. So I wouldn't worry about it really. I would just make sure, obviously, you're hydrated and you get at least 2 meals in between. So I wouldn't do this morning workout and then just have 1 meal and then do your normal workout. I would prefer you have 2 or 3 meals in between. Make sure you're hydrated. And, you know, if that's what you have to do for the military, you know, that's what you got to do. You know, your job is more important than anything, you know. So do whatever you got to do. But, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just make sure you have a couple meals in between. Make sure you're hydrated. and then, supplementing with something like BCAAs, creatine, glutamine, anything that's going to help your recovery. Doing things like cryotherapy, deep tissue massage. Recovery is key. Make sure you're sleeping, all the stuff we already know. And once again, thank you for your service, Mr. Murphy. Next question, Olivia Glover Sandrini. How important are supplements and vitamins to achieve fitness goals? Is it possible to get in great shape without taking so many pills? Man, I'm glad you asked this question because it's a frequently asked question. So the thing with supplements is, no, they're not required. Of course, you don't have to take supplements. The most important part to having a great transformation is diet and workouts and cardio. If your goal is to lose body fat, so diet and training. But if you want to do things 100%, you want to see quicker results, better overall results, supplements will absolutely help. But you don't need to take literally everything. Obviously, I'm sponsored by 1UP. I've been with 1UP Nutrition for like 6 years now, a long time. I don't take everything they have, okay? So supplements should be taken where, how do you say this, where your gaps are. For example, if you're having trouble sleeping, you might take a sleep supplement. If you're not recovering optimally, you maybe take branched chain amino acids and creatine. If you have trouble getting your protein in, take whey protein. If your joints hurt, take glucosamine. Take a joint supplement. So, you know what I'm saying? So you don't need to take everything. I don't take everything. I do take a lot of vitamins to stay healthy in my overall health. But like sports performance supplements, I maybe take 2 or like BCAAs, whey protein, a carbohydrate powder if I'm trying to gain muscle. So you fill in the gaps. But the example I like to give with supplements is, you can absolutely see great results without supplements. But if you have 2 people, this is the example I always give in my stories in my life. If you have 2 people, the exact same genetics, you clone yourself, okay? And one person is taking the supplements and one person is not. The person who's taking the supplements is going to see results quicker, but over time, you can see the same results. But you'll definitely see results quicker if you take supplements. So it's not like supplements don't do anything. They absolutely help. If I had to put a percentage, people always love percentages. If I had to put a percentage on it, I would say 5 to 10%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're super serious about your goals and you want to see the best results, I do recommend taking supplements, especially if your budget allows. There's really no reason not to take them as long as you're, don't have any conditions or, you have the budget, like I said. But no, they're not required. Absolutely not required, but they do help, and they will help you get results quicker. Next question. This is going to my next page. Rayan Gonzalez. How to use the squat and hack machines, or squat and hack squat machines, without hurting the lower back. Wondering how to position so lower back is not used, get hurt. So first off, if you're having low back problems doing squats, try doing them on the Smith machine because it's easier to keep your back in line, your back straight. When you're doing free weight squats, you may be going too heavy and it's harder to get perfect form. So don't be afraid to do Smith machine squats or hack squats to take your low back out of it. You just put your back all the way against the pad, okay? A hack squat is the machine that has the pad behind you on your back. You just slam your back against the pad. But another way to help take your low back out of it is don't go too far down. Okay, so if you go too far down on squats, you hear everyone say ass to grass, which, I don't really believe in that. You do want to go low enough below parallel, but if you go too far down, your back's going to kind of like round up and it's going to hurt your low back. Unless your form is just perfect and you have amazing ankle flexibility, mobility, which, I don't, and most people don't either. So how do you get your low back out of squats? Don't do free weight squats if it bothers your low back. Do a squat machine where there's a back pad to support your back, and then just don't go too far down. You do want to break parallel, but you don't need to go, literally to the bottom. And then, another rule I have too, and this one is kind of, I joke around with it, but everyone says, no pain, no gain, and don't do that. If something hurts, don't do it. If you're doing an exercise that's causing pain, you need to stop. Like, no pain, no gain is the silliest thing I've ever heard. Now, what they mean is you push yourself past a mental barrier, you push yourself mentally past, like, mental pain. But if something physically hurts, don't do it. if you can't do good form or something, it's okay. You don't need to do that exercise. There's so many exercises for each muscle. Just do something else. Like leg press, leg extension, lying leg curls. You don't need to do free weight squats. Okay, next question is again from Sophia Dane Lawrence. If I've got deadlifts 3 days after legs and hammies, if I got deadlifts 3 days after legs and hammies are still cooked, could I do rack deads instead? Yeah. So rack deads is just like 3/4 deadlifts where you pull from your knees instead of the floor. And yeah, absolutely. You could replace it with rack deads or hyperextensions, because hyperextensions target your low back as well. So, but this is something that you as an individual need to kind of like engage your body, because if your hamstrings are sore, like how sore are they? Having a sore body part is okay. And if you do deads, it's not 100% hamstring. So if your hamstrings are, absolutely fried, I guess they are. You said cooked. So yeah, if they're cooked, maybe just do hypers. But if they're just like a little, you just feel it a little bit, go ahead and do the deadlift. But you kind of have to like gauge it for yourself. But yeah, you could do rack deads, or hypers is even better, because that's not going to take your legs completely out of it, So yeah, those are 2 alternatives for sure. We got 3 more. Kevin Woods. If I end up missing a workout for any reason, do I skip it and move on, or try to double up? Also, if I miss, do I delay the start of my new program or let it go and move on? Okay, so good question. So I'm going to cover 2 questions here real quick. So if you miss a workout, you just push your schedule back, okay? I think a lot of people, they freak out about missing workouts. Guys, it's okay. It's like you didn't commit a crime. You just missed a workout. It's okay. So don't stress about it. But you just push your schedule back. So let's say you had chest Wednesday, back Thursday, and Wednesday you're super busy with your family or kids or whatever you got going on. You miss Wednesday's workout. So what I would do is do chest Thursday and back Friday. You see? So you just push it back a day. That's what I would personally do. And the other thing I wanted to cover is a lot of people ask, he didn't ask this, but a lot of people ask about meals. If they miss a meal, do they double up? And no, you don't want to double up if you miss meals. You just want to go on to your next meal. So say you had a 12 o'clock meal, so you're eating like, 12, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., whatever, 9 p.m. If you miss your 12 o'clock meal, just have your 3 o'clock meal. Don't double up meals. So, that body doesn't work like that. You're not going to be able to absorb that much food. So if you miss a meal, just have your next meal. If you miss a workout, just push your schedule back. I wouldn't double up body parts. All right, a couple more questions. Rayan Gonzalez, this is, another question from Rayan. Thank you for the questions. I work till late, so workouts are usually past 8 p.m. Do I still take protein after when going to go to bed about 30 minutes to 1 hour after workout? Is working out late still beneficial? So basically, can you work out late and still take protein? Yeah, you can work out at whatever time of day you have to work out. For me personally, I like doing my cardio 6 a.m., weight training 12 p.m. That's just what I personally do, but obviously I have a very flexible schedule. This is all I do for a living, online coach. So, a lot of people work 9 to 5s. They've got family, kids, obligations. So you gotta do what you gotta do. You're not gonna see worse progress if you work out at night. The biggest thing if you work out at night is make sure you're having the post-workout nutrition. So yes, absolutely have your post-workout shake. And then, when I've worked out at night before, I find it's harder to go to sleep, because you kind of you hit your nervous system with exercise, and then it's harder to fall asleep for me personally. But if you got to work out at night, I've worked out at midnight, I've worked out all times. It doesn't matter when you work out. You work out whenever it's best for you and your schedule. Also, if you're one of these people who work out super early in the morning, like do weights early in the morning, that's cool. But make sure you always have a meal before weight training. So, somebody DM'd me and said, oh, I work out at 4:30, I don't have time to eat. I'm like, yeah, you do, dude. Just have 2 scoops of whey and a banana. You don't need a gourmet meal before weight training, but you always need to eat, because that's going to help prevent you from losing muscle. So never weight train fasted if your goal is to have muscle and a good physique. But yeah, you can work out at night. Just make sure you have post-workout nutrition. The last question is from Susan Brown, who is another great contributor to IG. Thank you for tagging me all the time, and I appreciate you. Everyone who engages with me on Instagram and DMs me, comments. Thank you very much. It helps out my page, and obviously I love communicating with people. Susan Brown. Oh, easy question. Are you taking pre-orders on shirts? You know, yeah, maybe I should. I wasn't planning on it, but yeah, I should do pre-orders of shirts. So shirts I'm doing, I don't know when this video is going to come out. I may or may not have the shirts available, but I'm restocking the black and white LBD training, just the basic LBD training shirts, and I'm restocking my practice safe set shirt, my cheat meals shirt, and then I have a 3/4 baseball shirt. So am I taking pre-orders? Yeah, I can take pre-orders. I'll always keep everyone updated on my Instagram posts and stories and emails like usual. Okay, that's all the questions. Like, comment, subscribe, give me some feedback. Obviously, I love doing these questions. You know, I love talking about fitness and helping people out. And if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Peace.